the Vietnamese Canadian community from Canada.
Kính thưa quý vị quan khách, kính thưa tất cả quý vị. Chúng tôi thấy có một cái biểu ngữ ở phía sau đây và hàng chữ đọc là Thank you Canada from the Vietnamese Canadian Community. Chúng tôi xin đề nghị đổi lại hàng chữ đó như sau. Thank you the Vietnamese Canadian Community.
Des représentants de la communauté vietnamienne de Montréal. Why I am saying that? Because after the awful events that brought you in Canada, you became great Canadians. You did your best to help your new country, and you became strong in the economy, in the academia, in every aspect of the Canadian community. And because of that, I'm telling you, merci beaucoup.
In usually an impression that everybody understands you, so there's no need for me to do translation. Just go on, have a good speech.
Sorry for the people that don't understand English and French then. But one thing I want to ask you. You know how much democracy is important because you fought for democracy. Convince your fellow citizens everywhere in Canada to go to vote, to have a high turnout at the municipal, at the school board, at the provincial, and at the federal level. Convince them, because you know that on this planet, they are human beings giving their life to have the right to enjoy free elections. We have free elections in Canada. We must use it plenty. I don't understand the matter of the disagreement between you and the municipal council. I guess Madame Pitfield will explain that later. I, coming from Montreal, will not interfere. Madame Nguoi may explain it, and Mario may explain it too. But one thing I want to tell you, as you know, I am involved in the leadership race for my party, the Great Liberal Party of Canada. One of the things I want to deliver for my country is to be sure that every community of this country will be able...
My colleague, the Honourable Stéphane Dion, has said, it's Canada that has to be grateful for all of you. When I was the Minister of Citizenship and Immigration, I often talked and told people about the Vietnamese community, and within 10 years from the time that you arrived, how fully integrated and settled you were in Canada, and that you truly were an example to all of the other communities of how to be successful. You overcome all of the obstacles when you came here. No one gave you a lot of a helping hand, but you came together as a community, you worked hard, you raised wonderful children who are going to go on now to being the future leaders of our country. I congratulate all of you for your success. Today the wind is blowing and we see all of the beautiful flags together. It's unfortunate that we're also dealing with the issue of the flag not flying in the positional spot that many of us would like to see that happen. I've already been working with Ottawa and talking to the mayor and dealing with these protocol issues on your behalf. I will continue to do that. I wish as well, let us all continue to be united as people who love Canada and are going to work together to ensure that Canada stays true, strong, north and free. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
The Minister of Citizenship and Immigration, Mike Cong, regrets the fact that he cannot be here with us today. He sends to me and asks me to read on his behalf greetings from the Minister of Citizenship and Immigration of Ontario. I extend warm greetings to the Vietnamese Association of Toronto and the community on the April 30th celebration of the journey to freedom. The Vietnamese community in Greater Toronto area and across Ontario is strong and dynamic and has played an important role in the cultural, economical and social development of this province. Diversity is one of Ontario's greatest strengths. Our province not only values our differences, but embraces them. My thanks to the many volunteers who have planned this memorable event, and my best wishes for a successful celebration. Let's have a big hand for the Minister of Innovation, Michael of Ontario. Thank you, Mike. And I'd like to call upon now somebody from a very important, crucial force in our city. Without them, there will be no safety. Without them, we cannot walk around freely in the city. Without them, we cannot enjoy the free life and the safe life and a very good environment in this city called Toronto. Thưa quý vị, sau đây chúng tôi sẽ đặt cái này mời ông thanh tra cảnh sát Mike Federico đại diện cho chỉ huy trưởng cảnh sát thành phố Toronto ngỏ lời cùng quý vị. Ladies and gentlemen, Superintendent Mike Federico, representing the chair of Toronto Police.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Canadians of Vietnamese heritage, Canadians all, citizens of Toronto, on behalf of the Toronto Police Services Board, and on behalf of Chief William Blair of the Toronto Police Service and the 7,200 men and women who help make your city safe, I bring greetings. Thank you very much for the invitation to allow me to acknowledge the challenges you have faced and help you celebrate the successes you have achieved. I remember very well the events in Vietnam growing up in Toronto, and even back in the 1970s, Toronto was recognized as a community of great diversity. So we watched with interest developments in Vietnam. You also have recognized that there were many Canadians over in Vietnam helping. I remember very well the days in 1975 when the North moved south into Vietnam, and I have very personal memories of the boat people experience. I was a police officer in West Toronto, Parkdale, when we first started to experience the refugees from Vietnam, and I had the great pleasure and privilege of working with that very early community developing in Toronto. I want to assure you of the continued support of Toronto Police in helping you make your community and the communities in Toronto and Mississauga, Ontario and Canada, a safe place to be and one of the most livable communities in the world. And in that regard, I'm going to make a personal appeal to you. Toronto Police is a very strong supporter of community and community diversity. In that regard, we are looking for recruits, especially recruits from our diverse communities from the Vietnamese heritage. I am pleased to say your community was represented in the last graduating class. I would be very proud to know that you were still interested in pursuing a career in Toronto Police, and especially after that passionate and very inspired comment by your youth. There's a future for you in Toronto, and in particular, the Toronto Police Service, and there is a wonderful future for you in Canada. And I would only echo the previous speakers that Canada has a lot to be grateful for your contributions. Thank you very much.
It's very nice to be back here with so many colleagues such as Peter Lepretti, Jane Pitfield, and Sylvia Watson. And of course, Judy would also tell you that when we were here on council, and for the 10 years that I was here, this flag was always raised at City Hall. So we're very disappointed that today we cannot raise the flag here at City Hall. The world is crying for freedom. Everywhere we see that there is torture, there is lack of democracy, there is people who are suffering because they cannot be who they want to be. You all know that experience. You have all lived that experience in Vietnam. And so it is no wonder that when I hear your voices about Canada and your love for this country, I understand very deeply myself as an immigrant who came to this country, the importance that Canada plays in the world in promoting of democracy. The world needs more Canada, and it's so important that you are here celebrating this remarkable event and sharing of your culture and your history and fellowship with everybody else with different communities, because you know and you love freedom. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank you for your participation. I want to thank you for your dedication to Canada and to freedom. Thank you very much.
To this occasion, and I'm very, very impressed by the sight of these wonderful flags and by the sight of the Vietnamese Canadian community who have come out en masse to support their community and to support the cause of having this flag raised in the place where it belongs. First of all, let me say to you that the Vietnamese community is a community that has seen a great deal of adversity over many, many years.
Mang các em sang định cư, nuôi nấng các em, chấp nhận các em vào gia đình của họ, coi các em như con cái. Ngày hôm nay 30 năm sau, các em đó đã trở thành những công dân Canada, những người cha, những người mẹ, những thành viên đóng góp cho cộng đồng Canada và rất thành công trên nhiều mặt. Ngày hôm nay, đại diện cho 57 trẻ mồ côi đó, trong cái tiến trình về nguồn, trở lại với cộng đồng mình, tìm lại cái gốc gác của ông cha mình, đại diện của 57 em đó có mặt ngày hôm nay và muốn thưa chuyện cùng quý vị về những tâm tình của các em, của 57 trẻ mồ côi mà khi ra khỏi đất nước không biết cha mẹ mình là ai, mà khi ra khỏi đất nước chưa có một ký ức sâu đậm gì về quê hương. Nhưng thưa quý vị, với tấm lòng hồi cố quốc, với tấm lòng hồi hương, với tấm lòng nhớ lại những cái gì là căn bản của chúng ta, là nguồn gốc của chúng ta, các em đó có mặt ngày hôm nay ở đây. 30 years ago, my friends, just a few days before South Vietnam fell to the North forces of the communist regime in Vietnam, through the good hearts of a number of Canadians, very humane, 57 orphans, very young orphans, were helped to leave Saigon for Canada. The remarkably humane response to the plight of the orphans who were then almost neglected because everybody was busy fighting against aggression. These Canadians brought them to Canada quietly, accepted them into their families, raised them, and they have now become the proud citizens of this country. They are contributing members of our society, their mothers and fathers. After 30 years here, 57 em bé mồ côi được mang đến Canada năm 1975. Ngày hôm nay, trong tinh thần trở về với cộng đồng, trở về với nguồn cội, xin phép được ngỏ lời cùng quý vị. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, honored guests, fellow speakers, it is a proudful day to stand here and to hold my flag. Even though our flag is not waving here, it is flying high in our hearts today. I stand before you as one of the 57 Vietnamese orphans that was brought over in 1975. 1 year ago, we started our quest to find the other 57. This Easter, we were able to reunite with 40 of the 57 orphans. We want to take this opportunity to thank the media to help us express our story. We were able to find the pilots, the volunteers, the doctors and nurses who helped us and welcomed us to Canada. Last year, Trent Kilner spoke as a new member of the Vietnamese community. We have been greatly welcomed by the Vietnamese Canadian community, and for that, we thank you. We want to share in this day with you. We want to say thank you for welcoming us again to speak to you and to address you. We are here as a representative of the love the Canadians have for the Vietnamese people. Please give it up for the Canadian people. We thank you and we celebrate with you. Wave your flags high with pride.
Bức thư chính thức của cộng đồng gửi Tòa thị cảnh Toronto yêu cầu xét lại việc treo cờ Việt Nam Cộng Hòa.
Kính thưa quý vị đại diện các hội đoàn, đại diện tôn giáo, kính thưa toàn thể đồng bào. Mặc dù thành phố Toronto đã chính thức từ chối nguyện vọng của cộng đồng người Việt Toronto, một lần nữa chúng ta khẳng định quyết tâm tiếp tục tranh đấu để bảo vệ danh dự và biểu tượng của cộng đồng người Việt ở Toronto, ở Canada và ở hải ngoại. Hôm nay một lần nữa chúng ta gửi thỉnh kiện thư lên thị trưởng và thành phố và các nghị viên của thành phố Toronto. Xin được phép quý vị đọc bằng tiếng Anh. Our special guest, ladies and gentlemen, although our request has been officially rejected by the City of Toronto, we will continue to fight for our freedom of expression in order to protect our community, the symbol, and our heritage. This letter of request for reconsideration is once again submitted to the City Mayor and Councillors on behalf of the Vietnamese community in Toronto and surrounding areas. Request for reconsideration to Mayors David Miller and City Councillor. This letter serves as a respectful request from the Vietnamese community in Toronto and surrounding areas for your support to again allow the raising of the Vietnamese heritage and freedom flag on the courtesy hall at the Nathan Phillips Square. For the past 25 years, the Vietnamese Canadian community in Toronto has raised this heritage and freedom flag on this flagpole annually on the April 30th, as a unifying symbol of our community. In 2005, the Protocol Office of the City of Toronto denied us permission to raise this flag. This has caused much distress in our community. In spite of our appeal, the decision remains in effect. As you are aware, the heritage and freedom flag symbolize the great sacrifices of over millions of Vietnamese born people who died at sea on their way to seek freedom during the late 70s and early 80s. This flag also represents the tears, pain, spirit, and soul of thousands of Vietnamese who had fallen on the battlefields during the Vietnam War. This flag is recognized by the Vietnamese refugees around the world and by many institutions of multiple states and cities, particularly in the United States of America. However, according to the Protocol Office, it is no longer recognized by the City of Toronto. There are more than 60,000 Vietnamese Canadians in the Greater Toronto area, and we hold our community days each year on April 30th. It serves as a day for our community to remember our roots, our heritage, and our loved ones who has perished in the search for freedom and human rights. It is also an opportunity for us to celebrate our success in the new homeland. On this day, Vietnamese communities across Canada and all over the world raise this flag in unity. Also on this day, we commemorate the death of those Canadians who has voluntarily enlisted with the American Army and was sent to fight for democracy in Vietnam over 30 years ago. On behalf of the Vietnamese community in the Greater Toronto area, we respectfully request your reconsidering of the decisions of the Protocol Office, which prevents us from raising our heritage and freedom flag on the official city flagpole. Your support for this request will be much appreciated and forever remembered. Respectfully yours, Sai Kerry Bantu, President Vietnamese Association Forum.
Nghị viên Jane Pitfield sẽ nhận theo yêu cầu của cộng đồng Việt Nam và xin mời tiến sĩ Hồ Văn Thừa. Dr. Terry Ho will now presenting the letter and the yellow flag to Jane Pitfield. Xin chúc một tràng pháo tay. Thank you, Jane Pitfield, for having accepted the petition and the formal letter request. Also, the yellow flag from our committee, which she says hopefully will be raised on the flagpole next year. Xin quý vị một tràng pháo tay cho Jane Pitfield. And now, a few words from Jane Pitfield.
Good afternoon, friends. I came today for a flag raising. I expected to see this flag at the top of the pole. On behalf of Councillor Sylvia Watson and Councillor Peter Lopretti, we are surprised and we are embarrassed that there is a banner requesting City Council to change their minds. I want you to know, friends, that this has never been discussed at City Council, and this decision has been made by a small group of people in our protocol office. And this will be easy to reverse. And we will do our best. Councillor Watson has already said, and Councillor Lopretti joins with me. This decision needs to be made, and I'm only sorry that last week at City Council, we were not aware that we were in a position that we could have helped you to reverse the decision in time for today's flag raising. And we commit to you that the flag that I've been presented with today will fly next year on April the 30th. I would like to add, we have 365 days of the year, and every day is available to fly a flag. You also deserve, on behalf of the 60,000 Vietnamese Canadians in the GTA, to commemorate your journey to freedom. You also deserve that this day be proclaimed the day of the journey to freedom on behalf of the Vietnamese Canadians, and we will also ask for that. In 1998, there were a group of Aboriginal people in Canada named the Métis, and they were not being recognized even as a people. and they came to us and they asked that their flag be flown. And as the Aboriginal representative, I saw that that flag was flown. And it makes no sense to us that for 25 years you had your flag. And I'd like to recognize the gentleman who's been standing on a chair through the whole ceremony, doing his best to get the flag as high up the pole as he can. And I would also like to say, I have never seen so many flags or so many people at a flag raising at City Hall. And the fact that you also had a plane carrying your flag, it was even higher than the flagpole. Congratulations. Good for you. And we applaud your spirit. And we're glad that you chose not only Canada, but that you came to Toronto. We celebrate that. And we look forward. We count the days until next year on April 30th, where we will meet again. Thank you.
And I'd like to call upon, last but not least, another city councillor, Peter Leprety, who's here with us today to say a few words. Thưa quý vị, nghị viên Peter Leprety.
Venerable Monk, colleagues in government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I represent a large ward in downstream North York, where many Canadians of Vietnamese background are now calling their home. I'm very honored and privileged to have met so many of you and to understand your history, your culture, your traditions, all the greatest things that the Vietnamese community has brought from Vietnam here in Canada. Canadian politics and international relations have no place in civic duties and civic government. And I think that we have to acknowledge the fact that this flag, that you, the citizens, the new citizens of this great city, have every right as any other group in this great city. So good luck, and I look forward to next year raising the flag up there.
Không phải là nó đưa ra nguyên có một cái tập thể. Mình đi sâu gọn ở đây.
vẫn hát vang lời Việt Nam. Nhìn về đại dương, ta nhớ hương quê nhà ở đó. Còn nhiều lầm than sau phút súng gươm buồn lặng im, là tiếng khóc thương đời biệt ly, bên tiếng hát ru gọi người. Trong mộng nửa đêm ai đánh thức khu vườn tuổi thơ, và gọi dòng sông đưa lối tới cuối làng đầu xóm. Từ thời loạn ly qua những lúc đất trời bình yên, chỉ vẫn hát ru tình chờ mong.